Hello, and welcome to the next episode, Learn, Grow, Do, Repeat with Jamie Totino. So today I am awfully grateful to be able to have this person on, someone I get to call a friend, which means a lot, but she's a lifestyle blogger and influencer, a successful entrepreneur in Sydney. That's probably like the only thing that I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. She's in Sydney. We'll take it though. We'll take it. She's a mother and a wife, a role model to many women globally. And most of all, like I said at the start, one of the most down-to-earth, humble and grateful people I know. And you know what? Like I said, someone I'm really grateful that I get to call a friend. We have the incredible Dinh on the podcast. Welcome, Jenny.
Oh my gosh, I've never had an intro like that ever.
It's all truth. It's all truth. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you for even thinking that I'm worthy to be on your show.
Some of the work you're doing online, Jenny, and whether you want to accept it or not, it's absolutely, it's doing incredible things for people on the smallest things and on the larger scales as well. So well done to that. But we're going to get stuck straight into rapid fire. So rapid fire, very quickly, is fast questions, fast answers. There's about 21, 22 of them. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Favorite song right now? Favorite song?
WAP by Cardi B.
Love it.
Because when I first heard it, I didn't know what it was about. And then when I realized what it was, I was like, oh, I like it even more.
And it's definitely a song you don't play in front of the kids, that's for sure.
No.
Definitely not. Favorite song, Jenny, to get you pumped up?
WAP.
Come on, Jenny, you got to give me different answers. You can't give me the same. You're gonna have to give me a different answer now. Your favorite movie?
Favorite movie, The Bodyguard.
Oh yeah, nice one.
Because it was the very first movie that made me cry.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Favorite book?
Favorite book. I don't know about favorite book, but I read Rose McGowan's Brave, about her journey through Hollywood and all of that Me Too campaign as well. That was really
we'll pay that. It's definitely a reading material. Good. Your favorite color?
And something recently, Be Great. I don't know if you've heard of that book.
Who would write that book? Whoever wrote that book must be a great guy.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the best, Jenny. Your favorite color?
Yellow.
Yellow. Okay. Your go-to meal?
I always said if I could only pick one meal for the rest of my life, it'd be a salad.
What sort of salad, though? That's very broad, Jenny. Come on, I'm going to push you a little bit here. What type?
Salad.
Caesar, yes.
With or without chicken, doesn't matter.
Okay. Favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show was The Practice. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Many years ago.
Yeah, The Practice. Your first job?
First job, retail assistant. Hang on. First job, not including the one with your parents, right?
Oh, totally. The first legal job. We're keeping this above board over here.
Yeah. I got some breaks.
I love it. Retail assistant. Your biggest celebrity / sporting idol growing up?
Biggest celebrity. I'm not into sports, so I don't have a sports idol.
It's okay.
But celebrity crush was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Good old Leo, huh? Good old Leo. One thing that you dislike or hate, and you can't say coriander.
Oh, I like coriander, so it's all right.
It doesn't have to be a food, though. It can be anything.
I don't like ill-mannered people.
Ill-mannered.
That
was easy. That was easy.
Things I think are very important.
Totally. The small things that count. I love it. Funniest or craziest thing you've done?
Funny or craziest thing. Took my car on track. Raced my car on a track, yes.
Wow. How'd you go?
I was the slowest.
You were the most cautious.
Yes, probably.
Yeah.
But I heard a hell of a lot about my car.
Oh, okay. What sort of car was it?
It was a Honda Integra Type R.
Oh, look at you go.
Yes.
Look at you go. I love that.
8,000, 9,000 RPMs,
Now you're talking the language. There's another whole podcast episode right there. Let's just talk about cars. I love it. Book or audio book?
A book.
Okay. Summer or winter?
Summer, 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 summer.
What is something, Jenny, that you haven't done yet that you really, really, really want to do?
Learn how to dance.
Ooh, okay. A
Yeah.
particular style of dance?
Anything. I got no.
I just want to move.
I got no rhythm.
I like it. I like
just
it.
admired people that could dance. Just
Nice.
beautifully.
Yeah, agreed. Sum up your mindset in one word.
Stubborn. I think I'm stubborn enough to just keep at something.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. Proudest moment personally and then proudest moment professionally.
Oh, jeez. Proudest moment personally. I know this sounds like a cliche, but it's probably like being a mom. To be honest, because I never wanted children. So I think having that, and then maybe losing the weight afterwards too. That was probably
totally
30 kilos of it. Personally, and then professionally. Probably when I was given like a promotion in my job to travel the world. No, take that back. Not the world, Asia.
Okay.
That was my job.
Big.
Travel, Hong Kong, China, Korea. That was a big career highlight.
Yeah, awesome.
2 or something.
Wow. Yeah. Well done. Incredible. Tell us something, Jenny, that no one knows about you.
Okay, I don't think it's a massive secret, but I have a scar on my stomach from an operation. It's like that big, but we don't know what it's for. Yeah, so my mum and dad, when we arrived into this country, with very limited English, and I don't know why, the doctor said to my mum and dad that there might be something wrong with Jenny, we need to do a biopsy. So my parents, my mum was against it, and my dad said, but we're in a Western country, all the medicine is like up to date. What if there is something wrong with her and we don't do it? So then they ended up agreeing to it. But at the end of it, we had no results. We didn't know what it was for. And when I looked into it, even 5-10 years ago, they don't have they have some record of me being there, but there's no conclusion to the biopsy. Yeah, so I've got this scar on my stomach, but I don't know what for.
That is very, very interesting. That needs some further investigation, that's for sure. Yeah. I like it. What's your greatest failure? Now you can change failure. You can substitute that word for anything that better connects with you. But your greatest failure that ended up being your best lesson.
I think we can do this even combined. Like my husband and I have invested in some businesses that did not go well, and we lost a lot of money. And we learned a lot of lessons in because we are very much to our word, but not everyone is like that. Mm-hmm. So we've lost a lot of money in that sense. But yes, we call it university.
Totally.
It cost me this much to learn this lesson.
Yeah.
Probably our biggest failure was just trusting people too much and not having firm contracts. Yeah.
Okay. Good. If you could choose, Jenny, to have lunch with any one person in the world, who would it be? Dead or alive, past or present? You got a 2-hour time limit, and where would you have lunch?
Okay. I'm going to answer twice.
I don't know if we can allow for that, Jenny. I love it.
One would be my Korean heartthrob, Park Seo-jun. And if you've watched Itaewon Class, you'll know who I'm talking about. If you haven't, then that's fine.
I haven't seen it. Sorry.
Where we can have lunch in the gutter on the side. I don't care where we have lunch.
I love it.
The other one, I've always wanted to meet my grandmothers. So I've never known my grandmother on my mum's side or my dad's side, and they both passed during the Pol Pot War. But I think when you look at people and you see who they are, they always say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And I look at my parents and they're just highly resilient people. They've rebuilt time and time again. So I would love to have met my grandmothers.
Both of them. Yeah. Awesome. I like that. Nice answers. What was 10-year-old Jenny like?
10-year-old Jenny was this tomboy, massive tomboy. scars all over her feet and legs, falling over all the time. Got all my brother's hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
Highly obedient, according to my mum and dad. Much so when I was a teenager.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Second last question. What's one trait, skill, value, belief, quality that you really resonate with, and the one that's most important that you would say is consistent across your closest, maybe say 5 friends or acquaintances?
One trait, you said?
Yeah. One skill, one trait, belief, value, something.
I would probably say humility or humble people.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense because, for me, you're probably one of the most humble people I know. So it makes sense that, you hang around with others just like that. So lucky last question. Here we go. Your favorite superhero?
Oh, this is going to be really cliche, but when I watched Wonder Woman, I was like, I want to be her. Because she was like so amazing.
It was an awesome film, and she played the role so well.
She did, yeah. And not just physical strength, but her mind and everything.
Totally. I think what's most impressive as well is like the backstory to it and what she's doing in the industry as well. Okay, cool. It was an awesome movie, and what she did on TV and on the screen was awesome. But like the whole story around what she's done is incredible. So that makes sense. Well, Jenny, that's rapid fire. Well done. We made it through. Good job. I got another question for you. For you throughout this COVID period, what's probably been one thing that you've learned about yourself most during COVID?
Without bragging, I suppose, I think that I've been quite adaptable.
Yeah.
Sometimes when someone throws something and you think, oh, I can't do that. And then you're kind of stuck in there. You just think, oh, no, that's not possible. But it is possible if you just try it. So I think just being, I've learned that I can be very adaptable.
Awesome. I like that. And that's an important skill to have, whether it's, in business or as a parent or as a partner in life.
Yeah, look, we just hosted a photo shoot for another client of ours, and the photo shoot went like 3 hours behind schedule.
Oh, wow.
And then the marketing manager that I dealt with was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's cool. It's not life or death.
It happens, yeah.
It happens. Like if we can't adapt to these situations, we can't have the photo shoot. Like,
correct.
We've got to roll with the punches.
100%.
No one died, so.
Worst case, no one died, so we're all good. We can just push it back a little bit. Happy days. Jenny, where do we start with all this? Like, I'm sure we could talk for hours and hours and hours, and there'll be such incredible content for people to take away from it, especially from, your own journey itself. But where do we start? Like, take us back to as far as you feel comfortable and as far as you even remember sharing, and then sort of take us on the journey to getting to where you are now and being able to do what you do and inspire so many people. And again, I think you're just being you, which is probably the best part about it, is you're just naturally being you, doing incredible things, and it helps people also take their life to that next level as well, which is awesome. So yeah, tell us where it all began.
I appreciate that because it's you're right, because sometimes you do these things every day and they don't look like a big deal because you're rolling with the punches, you're doing what you got to do, but then from the outside people see something a bit different.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. My kind of journey started with, my parents have always owned sewing factories and stuff. So, I've always been in and out of fashion. But being from a Chinese background, and I guess most migrant families, actually, it's, you're brought up with only a few jobs proposed to you. Like, we can't wait till you're a doctor or a lawyer. And then you kind of think, they're kind of the only jobs that there are in this world. And if you don't get those jobs, then you failed. But yeah, I made it to uni doing a psychology degree, started a psychology degree. But I dropped out within the first semester because I was like, this is not me at all. Whilst I enjoyed the content, like I'm not studious in that way at all. But yeah, my parents were quite open. They were like, okay, well, what do you want to do? So I proposed something in fashion because I was like, I understand this quite well, and I feel like I have a bit of a flair. So they enrolled me into fashion school, which I enjoyed thoroughly, did really well in. And then I got a job at a fashion business, I guess you could call that. We imported clothing pretty much for Australian retailers.
Yep.
And then my job was pretty much from start to finish, from when the designer placed the order to when it went into store. So that whole process was me, everything from fabrics right through to delivery, international shipping, all that sort of stuff. So as we touched on previously, some of the highlights were, getting to travel the world and seeing places that you never thought you would go to. That was great. And then I was at that job for about 12 years. It was my first career job that wasn't, like a side job. So I think one of the things that I learned from that was I should have changed jobs. Although it was the best job ever, I think learning different environments is important too. But I got so comfortable in that one job that when I got made redundant, it was like I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to adapt, so to speak. And when I did go to these other 2-3 jobs afterwards, because the conditions weren't as good, the pay wasn't as good, I was just like, I just threw my hands up and I was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
But it taught me that, I was actually very lucky, and that's actually not the real world.
True.
The fact that I was getting paid on time was actually a luxury, because every job after that, I was lucky to get paid on time.
Yeah.
So why is it that I have to chase for my pay?
I got to ask. Yeah.
What I have to ask, right? It should just come in. So then I dabbled in just a few other odd jobs, and then all the while still working at the restaurant. So my husband owns a restaurant, which I would do my Monday to Friday job during the day, and then after my Monday to Friday job I would go to the restaurant at night, and by the time we get home it'd be like midnight. And I did that for a very long time. I guess I could, because I didn't have kids. We were very highly driven. We had no other commitments, so we were happy to push ourselves. But there was this moment, I remember there was this moment where I was walking through the city and a group of uni kids also walked past, and they were like, oh, that's Jenny from Fat Panda. And it really stuck with me, because I thought, that's what people remember. Of all the things that I've done, that's the thing that they remember. And then there was that moment in me that I was like, okay, it's got to be more than this, because we can't have the restaurant forever. And what have I got after that? So it always stuck with me. This thing always stuck with me for a very long time. And then, then we fell pregnant and I had my son. And I think you can kind of understand, when you become a mum, you lose a lot of your identity. So if you can imagine what I was feeling before, I really felt that now. And then I put on all this weight. I put on 30 kilos. I went from a size 6 to a size 16 because I got cocky. I thought, how hard could it be? Because I was. And then slowly people were like, oh, how did you do this? And teach me. And oh my God, how'd you do that? And then so I thought, and then I could see Instagram was starting to get really popular. I missed the whole Facebook thing when that happened. But I could see this Instagram thing was getting really popular, and I kind of wanted a piece of that, and I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And the funny thing was, for many years, people were like, oh, who does she think she is? You post up stuff and none of your friends comment or anything like that, and people start judging. But then, then all of a sudden you get to a certain follow count, and it's like, I've known Jenny for years. And it's like, okay.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but you
Correct.
So then I could see that it was starting to build momentum. All these sponsorship offers were coming in, collaboration offers were coming in, and I was doing it all for free.
Yeah.
I think, okay, I'm only small fish, but I want the exposure and I want to work with them and all this. I kept taking it on, and actually it was one of the nights that Aaron had a a night in Sydney. I can't remember what it was,
Yeah.
but I went to it, and he opened with "Know Your Worth."
Mm.
And I sat there and I was like, yes. I was like, yes, know your worth. And then so the next time someone proposed something to me, I was like, this is my rate. And then they were like, yeah, sure.
Oh.
And I was like,
oh.
It worked. It actually worked.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So then, but you know, like we get taught a lot about personal branding and all that sort of stuff. And I really like ran with that, you know, made it a thing. Yeah. And then I guess from that point until pre-COVID, it was quite good, to the point where I had created like a full-time income for myself.
Wow.
Doing just that, you know. So
incredible.
I guess that kind of brings us to where we are today. I think I've missed a few things, but
that's okay. You've covered all you've covered some of this, and it's just amazing at how it sort of like in a way like organically grew. Like you were just being you, like I said earlier. You sort of just got into it, and then you sort of realize, well, this is good. Did you realize that you were good at it, like, or was it just like you were having fun, or were you getting people saying like, wow, Jenny, you're amazing at this?
A bit of both. Part of it is fun.
Of course.
You know? And of course you can't do something well if you don't enjoy it.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
But there was definitely a good chunk of it where I tried to treat it as a business.
Yep.
And really look at it like a business. And
from day one, you had that mindset?
No.
Okay.
So I didn't start it with that intention.
Yeah, definitely.
Certainly, because when I started it, I always questioned myself, like, I don't know if imposter syndrome was right, but I always thought, like, am I being egotistical?
Yeah.
Is this where this is coming from? But once it was packaged to me as like a personal brand thing, then I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Totally.
And when I think about like the jobs that I have now, they're all based on my personal brand.
Totally.
Because if some random just went and knocked on someone's door and said, hey, we would like to work with you, no, they wouldn't work with you.
Correct. No chance. Yeah.
No, but because you've built a reputation for yourself, given you 5 minutes of their day to pitch yourself.
I like it. Yeah. And I think that's why, in a way, it's been so successful, because you didn't really do it to be successful. In a way, you know what I mean? Like, obviously now it's a different mindset to it, but at the start it was just like, let's give it a crack. This whole Instagram thing's working. I'll go on there. I'll go through the months and years and of hate and people telling me that I shouldn't be doing it. And then internally as well, your own challenges to then still turn up every day and share and post. What sort of doors and opportunities has doing what you've done over the years like open for you?
Well, the biggest door at the moment, I think, is the one where I can work from home at the luxury of my own time.
Amazing.
You know, I used to get up at 4:00 every morning to go to the gym, come home, get ready, get my son ready, and then like out the door by 7 and I would drive like an hour and 45 minutes to work.
Wow.
Because that's how far it was.
Yeah.
Finish work at 5 and then drive all the way. But like, you know, like I'm not afraid of hard work, but there's got to be a point where you realize that that's not a life, you know, and when you try, and people talk about work-life balance, and, you know, I never truly believed it. Yeah. And I still don't think there is the perfect work-life balance.
Agree.
But I think there are certain elements in your day that you can create. You can create them, you know, instead of just saying, I don't have time, but you do have time, you know, and instead of going to the gym at 4 a.m. now, I can go at 9.
Correct.
You know, so I'm still doing the things that I enjoy, but I'm not killing myself for it.
You've created it that way though, like, because you've put in the hard work, the sweat, the blood, the tears to have the ability to say, I'll go to the gym at 9 a.m., not 4 a.m. Yeah. You know, you weren't someone that was getting up at 4 a.m. saying, I wish I could go at 9. I wish I could go at 9. I wish I could go at 9. And then get to 70 years on and be like, I wish I could still go to the gym at 9. You're like, no, I'm going to do something about this, and I want to make sure I can go to the gym at 9. So you did the hard work to get there. Has it opened up doors in regards to like named brands and things that you probably even never thought that you'd be able to do, and opportunities to meet particular people? You know,
my biggest flex is probably the Fiji water one.
Yeah. There you go. I like it. Well deserved.
Yeah, that's probably my biggest flex. And, you know, with all the things that I've learned over the years, and to be honest, I actually pitched them. They didn't come knocking on my door, you know, which is like when you try and teach lessons to people. It's things don't come to you. You
No,
have to go chase
100%.
them.
Yeah.
And then I just, well, what's the worst they can say? The worst they can say is no.
No.
But the door that's opened for me is, although Fiji Water wasn't a paid deal, Fiji Water gets me all the other paid deals. Because whilst no one knows, well, now they know, but no one knows that it's not paid, but they think, oh, well, if she's working with Fiji, then
Correct.
it just
Correct.
leverage it.
But again, that's the branding of it. That's the brand perception. That's the business model, and that's the business mind behind it, which is smart business. Like it's in a way, like, and this is not it's not against you, but it's not like it's new. It's a strategy. It works. It's smart.
Yeah.
It's the way you should do it.
Yes,
So hats off to you. Like, awesome.
Having said that, before I got the Fiji Water deal, and I don't know if it was the actual catalyst, but I was pitching PR companies too, like how can I get on your list? What can I do? And then they just go unanswered. But now it's like, yeah, we got stuff we want to send to you.
Awesome.
For us, so
awesome.
Okay,
well done. What's your opinion on? Again, we can go as deep or as shallow as you want here, but what's your opinion on the mindset and the around social media? If someone who's now, and the reason I ask this to you, Jenny, is because someone who is, again, whether you want to believe it or not, you are definitely a leader online. We're all leaders online, and you do it in a completely different way, which I absolutely love. What do you think the mindset is right now around social media for people across the board?
Feel like what I've been hearing is quite negative. And I think it's because it's still so new, like especially around TikTok and like all this rubbish on TikTok. But if you could actually look into the metrics of things like TikTok and Instagram Reels and stuff, like they're putting so many eyeballs on that format that you would be silly not to get onto that format.
Agreed.
And it's like saying, well, newspaper ads are working, but no, let's go put an ad in the radio.
Yeah.
And I think like with everything, the printed media reports on fake stuff, social media, yes, is not good for your self-esteem, is not good for your confidence. But I hope that we're all smart enough now to say, well, this isn't good for me. I'm going to unfollow. Every time I read this, it makes me sad. I'm going to unfollow. Or even to the point where people start hating on people and judging them in the actual comments. People be like, oh, you shouldn't be wearing that dress, or that's too, you look too fat, things like that. Like, I like to think that we've moved on from that, and I think we have in a certain way, but there's still a little bit of it there. But I think social media is amazing.
I've agreed.
Amazing.
Yeah. And again, people have seen, you've seen that documentary. I don't know if you've seen it, The Social Dilemma, on Netflix, and that has stirred a few, ruffled a few feathers in the industry as well. But at the same time, like, look at the door for the right reasons. Like, we get to do this.
Yes.
And you get to work with incredible brands and pass on great work using it for the right reasons. Yeah. Like anything, there's always going to be the good and the bad with it. You can't stop that. Like in anything and everything that happens, and I like what you said there. I hope that people are starting to realize that this is not good for me, or this makes me feel sad, or this makes me feel a certain way that I don't want to feel, unfollow, or disconnect, or block, or restrict, or whatever it is. So that way they're not consuming themselves. And one thing that I do, Jenny, and I don't know how I came across this, did it 5-6 many years ago. I was on Facebook, and it has that feature like see first.
Yep.
So my feed on Facebook, it's weird. Like, I'll have to scroll for like probably 30 seconds to a minute to actually see like family or friends, because I've got like Forbes and motivational pages and business stuff and articles. So the first things I see on Facebook are like what's happening in the world, like positive news from credible brands. And motivational quotes and motivational videos and stuff like that. So I don't see the shit for a good minute, and by then I've already been here for too long, got to go.
Yeah.
So I think that was really one really cool thing. Like, what about you? Like, how do you manage it as a consumer? Like, how do you manage your time? How do you use social media as a consumer?
I don't know if you could say that I manage it well, because I consume it all the time. And I don't know if you ever saw, one time I put up a screenshot of how many hours I'm on my phone a day, and it's like 11 hours 46 minutes was like my record once. I was like that. I consume it every day, you know.
But is that for business, and like, are you connecting and playing the role that you need to, or are you just scrolling and no business talk, no nothing?
I would probably say like 3/4 of it is business.
Yeah.
And 1/4 of it is just, like catching up. Like I rarely am on Facebook now.
Same.
Because there's nothing on there for me.
Yeah.
I don't really care what my cousin in America is doing.
Yeah.
But I think I've built an emotional like intelligence now to be able to say, yep, this is good for me, this is not good for me. As a consumer, sometimes I even stop myself and go, okay, why did I stop on this post?
Yeah.
I try and dissect that post so that I can replicate that. What elements of this post made me stop? What elements of this post made me comment?
Yeah.
What made me hit save? You know, because they're the metrics now that Instagram is pushing.
Correct.
You know, a like means nothing anymore. A comment is, but if you hit save, they're now prioritizing that content and they're showing it to more people. So then you think, okay, what content can I create that will make people hit save? So when you think, okay, I've put up a pretty picture, but no one's going to save a pretty picture of me. You know, and even just that, like over the last few weeks, I've just learned that. I thought, okay, they're great pictures and people have commented, but they haven't hit save. No one's hit save. Of course they're not. But if how can we get them to hit save? But if we can dissect as a consumer, that's what I try and do now.
Yeah.
Think, okay, what made me hit that button? Yes, I like that dress, but what was it about that dress? It was the way that it was shot. Because when you look at that dress just on a white background, it's boring.
Correct.
Yeah. So if we can pick out the elements that we can see that have worked and use that for ourselves, that's kind of where I'm at as a consumer.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I think because from that social media background too.
Totally. And because you got the business hat on at the same, like your business hat never comes off. It's always on. It just, we're always thinking about our businesses and our brands. So you always like, look, what about for someone who doesn't have a business and who probably who probably doesn't think like that because they don't have to know why they stopped. They just stopped.
Yeah. And okay, I don't know if I'm totally answering that question, but what I like to do for people is I like to make it obvious and say to them, this is how you can support me, and give them,
correct.
If you like my content, share it.
Yeah.
If you like my content, and I've even seen a few bloggers do it as well. They put up like an IGTV and they're like, hey guys, I've got
nice phone cover.
I've got 100K following on YouTube and I've only got 30,000 followers on Instagram, but I'm spending a lot of time here, but I've noticed that you guys haven't been commenting or liking much on my stuff, which is fine if you don't, but I'm at a point now where if the engagement is dropping off here, I'm going to spend more time on YouTube. So if you guys can keep me here, then this is what I need from you.
And
I thought that was quite like it was great. She was
very forward, but it's
sometimes people don't know how they can help you, or you just one person. What's one save going to do for her?
Interesting. I like that.
People can do. That's how you can help them anyway.
Correct. Yeah, definitely. I like that. Good points. Even I'm learning. I never knew the saving part was such a thing. I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know it meant so much.
It's just changed. It's literally just changed because so that they've introduced the Insta Reels.
Yeah.
Right? So they're pushing Reels out to the world. Right? If you upload it, they're showing it into whoever they want. Now they're using posts. The metrics that they're favoring the most is the save one. You can get the most saves. Push that out more. Yeah.
If people are saving a post, then it must be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice one. I like that.
That's only recent. So don't feel like you didn't know that. That's literally only quite recent.
Yeah, definitely. Well, again, the listeners are going to get the hot news off the press. Start saving and getting your stuff saved. When you got onto Instagram and even now, maybe even, did you ever think it would get this big for you?
No, definitely not. You always hoped that it would. And I remember when I was starting, because, you can't do that swipe up feature unless you have 10,000 followers.
10,000. Yeah.
I remember going, I wish I had 10,000 followers. At the 10,000, it was almost like, okay,
yeah.
But like, this
I
is
can
it.
do one extra thing. I can make people swipe up.
I
love it. I love it.
Yeah, I think that's quite normal for anyone that is, that likes to achieve things.
Totally.
You're like,
always looking for that little bit more.
And then that bar just goes higher and higher.
500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. Keep growing from there. And then you get to 10,000. How do I get to 20? How do I get to 50? I like it.
The thing that you also learn is that is just a vanity metrics too.
Totally.
And like I've dealt with people that have twice the amount of followings that I do, and they don't charge $1 and hold
Yeah. Yeah.
How can you not? And they're like, but they just don't have that business mindset to work out a strategy to get that working for them. But in their full-time job, they do that well. But actually,
in their socials. True.
Well,
true. Yeah. I got a friend of mine who has about 50,000 followers on Instagram, and only really this year, like maybe late last year, early this year, pre-COVID, was when she started to actually monetize it.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing. It was just like, one, I don't know, either didn't have the right people around her to educate her, or she just didn't know how to use 500,000 followers on Instagram, which is a lot of people. So now I like that. For you, like, you are very open online and on Instagram, and you are very you. And sometimes people might see it as controversial. People might see it as egotistic. Yeah. People might see it as, who does Jenny think she is? Yeah. Despite all that, how did you build the confidence to even put yourself out there like that?
Oh, I think after I had my son, I built this genuine thing of like just not giving a fuck. Like I genuinely stopped caring what people thought. And I know it's really easy to say, and people are like, I don't care what people think, but you do. That's why you don't do this, and that's why you don't do that, and that's why you don't say that this is your business. People launch businesses all the time, but you don't know who the face of that business is. Of course you do. Of course you give a fuck. Am I allowed to swear?
Too late, Jenny.
Too late.
I'm joking. Of course you can. Of course you can.
Yeah, but I think, just really digging deep inside just to say, like, you know what, I really don't care what people think.
Did that take you time to build that up, or was it just like a click of a finger from everything to nothing, or like did it take time to not care, then care, not care, then care, and it just got bigger and bigger, the gap? No,
I think it took time.
Yeah.
It definitely took time. And it was probably a little bit of, okay, I'm going to post this picture and, it did quite well. Okay. I'm going to post this picture. I did quite well. And then I'm going to post this and you're like, I didn't do quite well, but that's okay. That's okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to do this. And I think as we grow older, we realize that the only person we want to please is ourselves. When you start living in this fakeness, it's not fulfilling in any way.
It's not real.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So I think, over time, definitely. But I think once you have children too, you start to realize that you are the mirror. And whatever you project and whatever you do is what your children see. So you have to be very careful in what you put out, so, and my son asks me many times, like, what happened to that business? And I said, well, the business didn't work out. And he's like, why? And I told him why. And I said, but this is what we need to learn from it. He's like, oh, okay. So we don't have that business anymore? So no, we don't have that business anymore.
Amazing. For someone getting started in the social media world, and whether they want to get into influencing or just business itself and want to build a brand online, did you, obviously there's a few tips and I'm sure we'll be able to get to that. But for you, like, what's been the biggest learning around this whole world that you've been able to create through social media? Like, what's been the one thing, and I like what you said there, it's just a vanity metric, the following and then the likes and then the, eventually not really giving a fuck and just getting out there and making it happen. What's been your biggest learning?
My biggest thing from the start has always been to be authentic. to be very real, you know, without naming names. Like I follow some other bloggers and I know that person, you know, and, you know, one week she's holding a yoga mat and the next week she's got something else. And I was like, I know you don't do yoga. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, fine, each to their own. But
Totally.
How am I going to believe the next time when you say like this this cream?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? I don't know, because you just said that yoga mat was amazing, but you don't even do yoga. I was very conscious of that. And like you imagine like alcohol companies, they have big budgets, you know, and a few times I've been approached to promote the latest wine and I said, I can't. I would love to, but I just can't. I really can't because I don't drink ever. 38 years of my life, I don't drink. Wow. So it would not align with me to take on an alcohol sponsorship. I've been invited to, you know, alcohol activations, and here, take this goodie bag. And, you know, and I've been very clear with them from up front to say, look, I actually don't drink, you know, and whilst my audience might, I don't think it's right for me to promote. I don't believe in. Because at the end of the day, when I do say, hey, go and get your facial here, I want you to go and get your facial. And I want you to believe it. Yeah.
And one thing that's even just comes to mind then is even like you said, like just because even though your followers might drink or you know whatever, use a particular cream or whatever it is, but you don't drink. Yeah. I think what's really important for people to remember is, and again, you tell me because you're at that level now and on some scale, is whether you've got 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, a million, or 10 followers, it's still the same concept.
Yeah.
It's still the same idea of, if you've got 10 followers, if I posted I've gone to this cafe, you're probably going to make every possible effort to say, well, I want to go and check out that cafe because Jamie's been there.
Yeah.
And he said it was good. Whether you've got 10 followers or 10,000 followers or 10 million followers. So it's the same concept. So if you're not going to do it with 10 followers, why do it with 20,000, 30,000, 50,000?
Yeah. And then you become a sellout.
Yeah.
That's what, like, and that's the thing, like I look at this person and I was like, okay, but if I was to ever start a business, I don't know if you would be the right person that I would advertise with, because I know that your core values don't align with mine.
Yeah.
You know, and I think if you want longevity in any relationship, your core values have to align.
Correct.
You know, whether it be personal or professional.
That's so true.
Yeah,
it's so true. And I love the fact, like, and you're talking about the whole social media thing, and I love the fact that that's become a topic and a conversation is about treating it like a business if that's where you want to go. And if you are just someone that's listening and you just consume social media, like you don't use it for business, you don't use it for any other reasons other than just consuming it and catching up with friends and family, whatever that might be. But I'm glad that business owners and influencers and people that use it to make a living or make a dollar actually have that mindset now. And I hope that more and more, there's a much larger percentage that use it for the right reasons.
I think, you know, I help a lot of businesses now manage their activations. We reach out to influencers. You know, my role is then to pick the right influencers and bloggers to come to the event, because the age-old feedback is, oh yeah, we got all the bloggers in, but then they never came back. Like that was it. And it was like, okay, but when we're working at a local level, we need to be working with local bloggers.
Correct.
Because there's no point in me trying to get a girl that lives in Bondi to come to a beauty salon that's in Sydney's West.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to come.
Correct.
And even though she might have 100K following, I would rather find the girl that lives locally, that has 1,000 followers.
Correct.
You know, and we're talking.
That will get 100 people to come.
That's right. You know, and when I do those activations for these businesses, I make it very clear to them that if you agree to come, you have to post.
Yeah.
You know, do what you agree to do, because if you want more gigs after this, you have to deliver on what you've agreed to.
Correct.
Is another age-old sort of negative feedback that they've always had is like, oh, they come and they put up one post and they delete it, and then they do this, or they don't.
Yeah.
You know, so they just come for the freebie. You know, which I guess, like in every industry, there are bad hairdressers, there are bad mechanics, you know, there are bad influencers, there are bad bloggers, but influencers just cop the rough end of the deal.
It's easy. It's easy to do it.
Yeah.
Correct. It's easy to do it. It's online. No one can see you or hear you. You cut them some slack.
I even get to the point where I advise them to have business cards, you know, to leave like a thank you card. So when I go to like cafes and stuff now, like I got printed like a card, and I write a personal thank you.
Nice.
And I leave a tip. So
how cool is that?
So I don't want them to think, oh, they've just come for free food.
Yeah.
We show some appreciation.
I like that.
And then you hope to leave a lasting impression.
Totally. And you got to remember as well, like I think now, again, I think it's true that now more than ever, like the world is so small. Like everyone knows everyone. You're only like one connection away from someone else. Like if I message you and about this person, yeah, I know that person, and then everyone knows everyone, or you're only like 1 or 2 points of contact away from someone.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's a very, very small world. So if you don't do good by one agency or one group of people or one business as an influencer, or even from a business owner's perspective, if you don't look after the influencer as well as they probably deserve to be, then you're going to be known in that space to not want to work with you.
100%. And exactly like what you just said, you know, even from influencers' perspective, we're like, oh yeah, we went to a tasting at that restaurant and it was like bad. You know, the way that they treated us, you know, they didn't do this, and you know, we didn't even get drinks. Like, you know, you've asked us to come.
Correct.
Okay, we're not getting paid and we're getting free food, but we're still coming on our time.
Correct.
To promote your business.
Yep.
And you're not treating us well. So the next time they put out an invite, no one's going to come.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So it's a two-way street. You're definitely
100% right. I remember we did the real food vending launch last year. Last year. We just had to clarify the years for a second. That we did it last year in 2019. I remember like we had the drinks for everyone that was there. And then we had a little private area, like it was like the green room. We just turned it into the green room, and it was for all the influencers. And I'm like, the same thing. They were there for free. They were posting, they were sharing, they were doing what they need to do. They were going to post afterwards as well. I said, look, the least I could do is give them it was the exact same drinks, Jenny. Like there was no difference between the drinks outside or inside.
Yeah.
It was just like they had their own area to go to. So they felt comfortable. They could do what they needed to do. And some of those people I've still messaged, we still keep in touch, and I've referred them to other people because they've been good and they've gone on and do their thing as well. Which is awesome. How do you work with brands now? Like with what you do online, like how do you fit into the puzzle for people?
So at the moment now, I only work with brands on a long-term basis. My theory around that is, you know, one post just doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
And it would be a waste of your money. It would be a waste of my time. And then you would turn around and say, oh yeah, we worked with Jenny and it didn't work. So that's like, even though I got paid for it, it doesn't reflect on me. So correct. I work on a long-term basis with them, and, you know, I try and teach them that, you know, the message needs to go out more than once before you're prepared to buy, you know. So now when you understand that you don't, like, you might see a fashion store come up once and go, oh, that's nice. And then tomorrow you see it again. And the next week you see it again. The week after you see it again. You know, by the end of the month, then you're ready to buy.
Correct.
But they've already built that brand trust by that time. And they're like, oh, okay. So, you know, we try and teach them around that.
Awesome.
A lot of my work is local.
Yeah. Good.
Which is nice, because I guess my reputation only kind of goes so far. Correct. But being able to teach them that is nice. So then they can really see and appreciate, it needs to be long-term for it to work. Because once I can teach them that that's how you buy, and they're like, oh yeah. So instead of, if you're just going to pay me to put up one picture, it's not going to work.
And I think you gain a lot of trust and respect from that, because you could easily take that couple dollars and be like, yeah, no worries, I'll just hold up this and do it once and take the $500, take the $200, take the $1,000, like whatever it is. Yeah. But you probably gain so much trust by saying, no, look, and it's not about me saying I want to be paid more. It's about me saying I want to help you get a result too. Yeah.
And I've had people come to me and they're like, okay, we want you to manage our whole business, you know, our social media business. And like, actually I just had a meeting last week and they said, we're booked out for the next 5 months. I'm like, okay, so you don't want to bring more customers in because you can't handle them.
Correct.
I'm like, oh yeah. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, I would love to, but clearly that's not your problem.
Correct.
And then when we finally dissected everything, you know, we worked out that we needed to build the business owner's personal profile in his branding, because eventually he doesn't want to do this forever. But, you know, we're talking about, you know, make yourself an expert in your field. You know, you can go speak at conferences, podcasts, people
do
are
Zoom sessions, whatever. Yeah. Give your advice, share your knowledge.
And then you'll be paid even more.
Totally.
My husband's a chef, and the dream was to own a restaurant, but 10 years later, it's lost its shine, you know, but like no one's gonna, like, he doesn't want to cook anymore. But if we built his profile to be a certain person, he could start consulting.
Correct.
And, you know, do that kind of thing. So then when we were able to pinpoint that for him, then he was like, oh, okay, yes. All right. I know who to contact now.
Awesome.
This is the right person to contact. I can't help you. I would love to, but I will take your money for nothing.
Correct.
For nothing. Yeah.
And that's the respect that you get there. For you, Jenny, for someone listening that, like, okay, cool, I want to get into this whole social media thing, and they're getting started, or they've already started, whatever it may be. What would 3 tips be on building you said it earlier, authentic, but a trustworthy brand like yourself, like a personal brand that's authentic, trustworthy, and that people follow for the right reasons?
I think if we can push out the right message, right? So things like, you know, your health, your mental health, you know, mindfulness or whatever, but whatever that message is, it needs to be one message. So you can't be today all about health, and then tomorrow you're all about cars, and then the day after that you're into like marijuana or something. I have no idea, right? Yeah. But the messages are not clear.
Correct.
You have to be quite niche, I guess.
Correct.
Even
consistent. Yeah.
Creating your own profile, you have to be quite niche, because if someone is following a food account, and if that food account all of a sudden started having plants in it, you'd be like, I didn't really come here for this.
Yeah.
You're not going to keep that following for a long time even. Yeah. So definitely be quite niche in who you want to target. Definitely, like we said, be authentic, consistent. We all know about, what else can I say? I think
what have you done well? Like, what have you done well, Jenny?
I feel like when I've gone real deep and told my real, true, heart-wrenching stories, that people have really gone, yeah, that's me. And I think one of my best performing posts was one about where my husband and I, you know, nearly divorced. And in the series of pictures that I put up, there was a photo of our divorce.
I think I remember that one. Yeah.
I still have that one. Yeah, I still have those divorce papers, you know, and that, like, so many people reached out. And off the back of that, I had 2 clients sign on just because I shared that story and they resonated with that story, and then they wanted to work with me in a totally separate capacity.
Correct.
Like, yeah.
Amazing.
But yeah, I think social media has gone beyond that now. Everyone's like, be real, be real, be real. But I think you can really share things that people don't want to talk about. You know, really, really taboo issues.
Correct. And
I think that,
and the funny thing is, though, like, yes, the stuff that people don't want to talk about, but it's real life. Like, in a way, we all experience a lot of these things to an extreme. So it's not like it's new news, or it's not like it's only for you. And we all have it. It's just that no one, like you said, I think it's having the ability to share it openly will build that connection with people.
Instagram has so much perfect on there already.
100%.
There's so much perfect on Instagram. You know, like, I'm sick of seeing that perfect body that is so unattainable. But, you know, everyone's still like, why do people still follow it and like it? But yet, when actually, no, let me take that back. I remember I posted up a photo, and then I had like all my stretch marks, and then Bonds reposted that photo because I was wearing a Bonds top. And that, like, I think I got like an extra 300 or 400 followers just from that. Like that was just like exposing just the real me.
Yeah, you.
Instead of pulling my high-waisted pants up.
Yeah.
I still had abs, but I still had stretched loose skin. You know, which a lot of us have, but no one wants to show.
I love it. I love what you said there about, like, you know, the unattainable body. And even when I always talk about like the bodybuilding career, I always say that those photos that I show, I look like that for 5 minutes.
Yes.
And that's the lighting, and it's the coloring, and it's the tan, it's the pose, and it's this and it's that. Like, there's so many things, in the favor of that shot.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I tell people too. That's one moment.
Correct.
One moment.
That's like not even 5 minutes, probably less than 5 minutes.
Yes.
Just before the show, I look nothing like that. And straight after the show, it's because when you work with a trainer, like, they make sure that you step on stage to look amazing. Like, that's the deal.
Yep.
So in the lead up, like, you're doing all the little things to make sure for that 1 minute, that 2 minutes that you're on there doing your quarter turns and doing what you need to do, that you look just the perfect you could ever be. Yeah. So, and I always make that clear, is like, don't get too caught up in the, go for it. Sorry.
No, after you.
I was going to say, don't get too caught up in the, that picture or that look, because that look is the lighting. It's the pump that might've just got on before, or it's the water depletion for the last 3, 4, 5, 24 hours, whatever it may be, Yeah. So, that's, and then as soon as that photo shoot's done, they're probably gone straight to Macca's drive-through, Yeah. But they don't tell you that part either. So that's why I love everything that you're about, Jenny. And I've said it many times, and I'll keep saying it. And I think that's as well why you get such incredible results. And I actually want anyone and everyone that listens to this podcast or does watch it to actually go and follow you, because I think even me following you, I learn on how to better put myself out there. And how to better build a brand online.
Yeah.
Because I think you do it so authentically and so naturally, most importantly as well. What would you say, Jenny, is one thing that you've learned over the years that has really just blown you away?
Maybe 2 things I'll say. One is trust no one, have everything in writing. And 2, nothing is ever what it seems.
I like it.
Even, like we said, even with 100K following, they're probably not killing it. Even if with that perfect body, they're probably miserable.
Yeah.
Nothing is whatever it seems. Yeah. Just always take a moment to like really dig deeper.
Yeah.
Because,
Good. One thing, and you got to think about it, right? Like, this civilization has been around for who knows how many years.
Yeah.
And Instagram's only been around for like 5. Like, properly. I know it's been around for longer, but like properly in this whole influencer world, 5 years. And it's like, people are like, what about the last million years?
What did we do before that?
How did we survive? How do we make friends? How do we connect? How do we, get through this shit? Like, if there's anyone listening who feels like they're in a bit of a stuck between a hard place and a rock, and it's just like, I don't really know what to do. I don't know how to go, one, with mental health or even with social media. Just remember that, this planet's been spinning for who knows how long. The world has done its thing for who knows how long.
Yeah.
Instagram's been around for 5 years.
Yeah.
It's it puts things in perspective pretty quickly, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's great that you've pinpointed that, because sometimes people just look at whatever Instagram throws at you and they're like, oh, but my life's not perfect like this.
Yeah.
But theirs is not perfect either, trust me.
Correct.
Yeah.
I like it. What do you say? Would you say your top 3 habits, Jenny, to, every day, maybe 3 things, habits, routines that you have to, allow you to be the best wife, mother, entrepreneur, influencer, business owner, to do what you need to do?
I'm going to be totally honest with you and say, like, COVID has not been good for me mentally, and I really, really struggled. So, those 3 things that, that I will speak about, even I myself struggled to bring that to the table. But now that things have been kind of back to normal in Sydney, more so than they have in Melbourne.
Yeah.
My number one thing is I always train every day. And, I remember saying to my husband, sometimes I go and I achieve nothing, but just the fact that I go helps me so much mentally. And whether or not I'm on that Stairmaster and just thinking, and for me, it's like brushing my teeth. I have to brush my teeth. No one ever says, I don't feel like brushing my teeth today.
True.
you have to, right?
So true.
Yeah. So that's for me my number one thing. And every time we go on holidays or whatever we do, I'll always make sure that there's a gym at the hotel somewhere.
Yeah.
But like I said, I struggled during COVID, and even like the many months I didn't train, and that just continued like to spiral for me.
Yeah.
But the other thing was, number 2 would probably say learning to be empathetic, really empathetic to everyone. I think the greatest education is not your education, is learning about other people and other people's perspectives, because there's not one way to do anything. There's 100 ways to do one thing. And if we can understand all those different ways, I think it makes us a more rounded person, a better rounded person. And the third thing I would say is, like I said, I'm quite stubborn. So just work hard, just constantly just hustle and grind. I love the people that want, I want a business, but I'm not missing out on Friday night drinks.
Yeah.
So, a birthday dinner to go to, and I have to drive that AMG or something, and it's like, okay, like you buy what you want to buy, but if you really want this thing to work, we all know that sacrifices have to be made.
Totally.
In many forms.
100%.
Not just money, not just time, not just relationships. Something's got to give. And what are you prepared to give up to have those things? So definitely, yeah.
I love that. That's good.
Being empathetic and being stubborn. Working hard.
If anyone's really young here, don't be stubborn to your parents. We're not condoning that. We're condoning chasing your dream. Any young kids out there listening? Yeah, definitely. I like it. Is this what you sort of envisioned leaving school, where you are now?
No. Definitely not. I always wanted to be a lawyer when I was a kid. Hence the practice, the love for the practice.
Yeah.
I was never studious enough.
Yeah, okay.
I always imagined myself as a lawyer.
As we start to wrap it up and sort of get towards the end, for you, Jenny, and it's not about like what makes you special. That's not that I don't want you to think like that. Yeah. I want you to think like, why did you make it? And look, that part there, why did you make it? Like maybe in your life you haven't made it yet, but in a way, like how have you got to where you have? Why have you been successful in this space? Like what is it that you do consistently that has allowed you to get to where you are?
I think a big thing that I have changed for myself is just learning how to be grateful about things, which I know it sounds really obvious, but just learning gratitude has been a big thing. And I feel like I have already made it because, I don't really suffer from mental health issues. My health is great. My relationships with my parents are great. I have really fine-tuned who I surround myself with in terms of friends. Money's not the best, but I have a roof over my head. I drive a car. I get to go. I have a gym membership. I think I've already made it. The rest is a bonus. The rest is a bonus.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so well said as well. Because what does made it mean?
Yeah. Because we've had money, like in our first, and I share this not to brag, but like in our first 3 years of owning the restaurant, we turned over $1 million on $3 plates of sushi.
Yeah.
But we were miserable. Absolutely miserable. We would buy all this stuff. Like I cleaned my wardrobe out the other day, and I've got 3 designer handbags that I didn't even know I had.
Yeah.
But we weren't happy in any way at all. We had money, but that was it. So I've kind of been at all those spectrums.
Correct. You've experienced it from both sides.
Yeah. And I can honestly say that that I don't struggle to sleep. I sleep very easily. I know how to identify issues when I have them. So I feel like, emotionally I've become better educated with myself.
Awesome. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. I've learned to be more empathetic. I've learned to really try and understand what someone else is going through. Yeah, those things. Like I think they're just essential to everyday living.
Agreed. Well said, Jenny. Well said. Last question for us today, and this has been absolutely incredible. Thank you again. I know I've said it a million times, but I'll say it a million and one. Thank you for making the time. But last question for us here. Has someone, like, for you personally, like, has someone ever said something to you? Have you ever heard something, read something, created something in your mind that you draw back on when you need it most? Like, is there a saying that you repeat to yourself all day, or is there a saying that really connects with you the most, that allows you to go out and do what you need to do, or change states if something bad happens? Like, what's your go-to?
You're going to laugh. I wouldn't say it's my go-to, but every time I read this, I'm like, fuck yeah, this is so true. And it's the meme is, you never hear a drug addict wake up one morning and say, oh, I don't have any money today, I'm not going to get my hit. The drug addict always finds a way to get their hit. So what are you going to do today? And you're like, yeah.
That is probably one of the most truest memes that ever gets around social media.
Yeah. Maybe another one is, I always think, like, when I was struggling to get off cigarettes, I always think, like, if people can get off heroin, and so why can't I get off cigarettes? That was probably the other one, which I haven't smoked for 7 years now.
Wow. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome work. And again, it just puts things into perspective again, and it helps you get your ass in gear if that's what it needs, or helps you sort of see, okay, cool, well, it could be worse.
I'm not going to let that drug addict out hustle me.
Yeah, today. Oh, that's so good. Maybe they should run like a university on how to hustle. No, that would be really bad. That's probably not a good idea.
I don't know about yours. You're still doing your 5 a.m. runs and stuff.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. No, I love it.
9, all right?
What was that, sorry?
I'm going at 9, not 5.
Hey, so you've created it that way, so why not? Jenny, you're an absolute legend. I really appreciate your time. You've given so much value here. I've got 2 pieces of paper, 2.5 pieces of paper full of notes and writings and things for me to work on myself to improve on. And I'm sure the listeners and viewers have also got a lot from it. For people following and listening here, where's the best place for them to follow you, engage with you, learn what you do?
Instagram, Jenny Dinh Official. That's it. That's where you can find me. Save all my content. Share it.
you watch, like, in the next couple of days when people start listening to it, it'll be like save. Everyone will be just saving.
Have you got all these photos of Jenny on your phone? I don't know. She wanted to save.
I listened to some lady on a podcast. She's telling me to save her photos. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
I love it, Jenny. I'll make sure I put all that information and the links for everybody in the show notes as well, so they can click straight through and get to it. But Jenny, like I said, thank you again. Thanks for everything you've done, and thanks for everything that you do online, and you will continue to do as well. And for everyone else out there who's tuned in, thank you so much for listening in and watching us as well. You have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next episode.